than 500 residents packed this room today to discuss health care in the Mountain State. I'm Brett Anderson, and I'll have the story for you straight ahead.
EPA reports that evidence for rapid climate change in West Virginia is compelling. I'm Alexa Chettarelli, and coming up on WVU News, I'll tell you how despite the fluctuating temperatures West Virginia experienced this past winter, people are turning to social media to say they are climate change deniers.
I'm Casey Gentile, and coming up, I'll tell you how this new required uniform feature is helping bridge the gap between the Morgantown community and police officers. Our Emmy Award-winning WVU News starts now.
Deaths related to police brutality have raised concerns from citizens on how to keep police accountable. So what are Morgantown police doing in response? I'm Brianna Parks.
And I'm CJ Harvey. Trump's budget plan acts as the arts, and that's not all. We'll tell you what else he's cutting here in the Mountain State.
These stories and more on WVU News, an Emmy Award-winning newscast produced by television journalism students right here at West Virginia University.
The Trump team gave an ultimatum. No more talks, time to vote. The dramatic scene followed 24 hours of tense negotiations, and before a single vote was cast, the bill was pulled.
That's right, CJ. Paul Ryan yanked the bill hours after meeting with President Trump to inform him that he didn't have the votes in order to pass it.
With more on this story, reporter Brett Anderson joins us now from Studio B at the Media Innovation Center to tell us more. Brett?
24 million uninsured. These are the projected numbers under the new American health care bill. And U.S. Senator Joe Manchin says these numbers are unacceptable. Nearly 600 came out to a town hall meeting to speak out against the bill, and emotions were high.
Mina Schultz was only in her 20s when she went to the doctors complaining of knee pain, but soon discovered what she had was so much worse.
So had the ACA not been in place, I wouldn't have been able to get on my parents' plan. At that time, I would have been too old. I probably would have gone without the MRI that found my bone cancer early, and the longer you put it off, the more chance of spread. So ultimately, it saved my life.
The bottom line is there are about 600,000 West Virginians that are at risk. Many of those people could lose their coverage entirely, and at least 175,000 can lose their Medicaid.
And that means 1 out of every 4 residents in the Mountain State relies on Medicaid for things such as nursing home stays and doctor visits.
Health care is a basic human right. The bottom line is we're paying for health care one way or another. We always have. The sad scenario is we've never tried to keep a person healthy to prevent them from getting these catastrophic illnesses.
Senator Manchin admits that the current Affordable Health Care Act needs repaired, not replaced.
So is this perfect? No. Can it be better? Absolutely. But if you throw it out, I can tell you the toxic atmosphere that we have in Washington won't bring it back.
The Affordable Care Act repeal plan cuts more than $800 billion from Medicaid. Currently, 28% of West Virginia's residents are on Medicaid.
In a last-minute effort to sink the Republican health care bill, a group of powerful conservative donors said they would start a new fund for 2018 Republican re-election races, but they said they'd only donate to those who voted against the bill. Back to you at the Waterfront studio.
Thank you for that report, Brett. Something else that's been making headlines recently, reports of police brutality.
In order to bridge the divide between the community and the police force, Morgantown officers have been looking for ways to show that they are accountable. Reporter Casey Gentile joins us now with more. Casey?
Thanks, Brianna and CJ. Within the last few years, police brutality has been in the news. Last year alone, there were 963 fatal deaths by police officers, and 12 of which were right here in West Virginia. Trust is a two-way street, and thanks to a generous donation of about $40,000, the Monongalia County Sheriff's Department is hoping to build the community's trust through the use of their new body cameras.
A recent Gallup poll shows that only 58% of white and 29% of African Americans trust police officers. Monongalia County is hoping to regain citizen trust through the purchase of new body cameras.
I think the relationship between law enforcement and the people that we serve is better and will be better. I think we'll see those statistics.
The main goal behind purchasing the cameras is to give deputies a tool for encounters that need to be recorded for evidence purposes and protection of officers and citizens.
So how exactly do these cameras work?
Ma'am, do you know why I pulled you over?
When an officer pulls over a citizen, they then press record on the body camera. The camera then begins recording the interaction between the police officer and the citizen. Afterwards, the officer can take the footage back to the station and record it for evidentiary purposes.
One Monongalia County resident is happy to hear about the new body cameras.
I think body cameras are essential to what they do because it protects them and it protects the citizen because with the false allegations made on both sides, it takes out the doubt.
Chief Al Kisner noted he would like the community to know the cameras are now part of uniform for officers. The devices record all encounters officers have with citizens.
Officers have been wearing the cameras for a little over a month. So far, the department has had no complaints and the devices are working well. CJ, back to you.
Thanks, Casey. Another cut under Trump's proposal would eliminate the 21st Century Community Learning Center Initiative, a plan that supports after-school programs across the country. It would be a slash of about $1.2 billion in federal revenue for a program parents repeatedly say they support. Almost 7,000 students in the state of West Virginia would be left without an after-school program if federal aid is cut.
It's a lot better for him than going to sit with a sitter somewhere, just watching TV.
We wouldn't be able to be a two-working parent family if we didn't have this option.
I mean, there's not many other options for after-school care, at least in certain areas, or a lot of them are booked up.
Under the president's new budget proposal, federally funded after-school programs like the Boys and Girls Clubs in Morgantown could be eliminated if Trump's budget were to pass. Dennis Paluga is the director of the Boys and Girls Clubs in Morgantown, and he says those cuts could disrupt those students' educations and also hurt their families at the same time.
There's a lot of advantages. We look at our programs is we don't only serve the kids, but we serve the family. If the family's doing well, the kid's probably going to do better than if the family's doing poorly.
According to the U.S. Department of Education, students participating in federally funded after-school programs saw an increase of about 76% in their class participation and a 73% bump in their overall academic performance. Currently, over 50,000 students in West Virginia are part of an after-school program. Paluga also said they faced budget cuts in the past, but is confident that they'll continue operating at both of the Boys and Girls Clubs.
I'm sure that's a relief to parents. Well, switching gears, the weather has seen some record-breaking highs and lows this winter. And social media users were very active, posting record highs and lows, some people even blaming climate change and global warming, while others were completely denying it. Alexa Chettarelli joins us now from Social Square to tell us more about the weather issues we're facing. Alexa?
Denial and alternative facts haven't stopped the Earth from warming to record-shattering temperatures. In fact, NASA reports that February was the warmest February in 136 years. I wanted to find out the science behind global warming. West Virginia's climate is changing because the Earth is warming. And weather this year has been record-breaking in the Mountain State. On February 24th, temperatures peaked at 78 degrees, but the next day dropped into the 20s. Dr. Ungle Lee says rising temps are cause for concern.
So the warmer atmosphere can contain more moisture. So more moisture means more chance of precipitation formation and then heavy rainfall. So those warmer temperature and more moisture in the atmosphere, more chance of heavy rainfall.
The EPA reports that annual rainfall in our state has increased by more than 25% in the last 60 years. But despite these statistics, some do not believe in global warming and even turn to social media to tweet hashtag I am a climate change denier.
I don't believe in climate change because the scientific community itself is pretty split on this topic, so I haven't seen a change in the environment where I live, so I'm just really not on board with the whole idea of it.
But the EPA reports that evidence for rapid climate change in West Virginia is compelling. Over the last century, rainfall has increased in many parts of the state by as much as 10%. So what does that mean for you? Well, rivers like the Mon River right behind me are more prone to flooding. But scientists also say that our state's terrain contributes to flash flooding.
The mountain range and then topography, yes, that is a significant impact on, sometimes enhance the precipitation impact on the community.
And many experts say that floods will continue to happen, and climate change is a contributing factor. Regardless of whether you believe in global warming or not, experts agree West Virginians need to rethink how we rebuild in the wake of recent flooding. You could track climate change on Twitter at Nassau Climate. The address is at the bottom of your screen.
Thanks, Alexa. West Virginia is rated the second highest state in the U.S. for obesity. So Morgantown has put together an event to teach exercise and eating tips to kids.
Sports reporter Hannah Getz tells us more on what these kids are learning from the pros.
I'm Hannah Getz, and coming up next on WVU News, I'll tell you what brings these group of kids and former Mountaineer athletes together right here in Morgantown.
Ready to go?
Sometimes the most important lessons are learned outside the classroom.
Are we going the right way?
When you chase the unknown, take a risk, and push beyond your boundaries. That's when you discover who you really are. Every journey starts with a first. Let's go.
West Virginia is considered one of the fattest states in the nation, and childhood obesity ranks in the top 10 as well.
That's right, Brianna, and the Mountaineer Day of Play is returned to Morgantown, and with it, healthy tips from superstars. Sports reporter Hannah Getz joins us now with more. Hannah?
Thanks, Brianna and CJ. The Once a Mountaineer, Always a Mountaineer campaign was designed to inspire a healthy lifestyle among children, and the message is delivered by former WVU athletes. The 4th annual Once a Mountaineer, Always a Mountaineer Day of Play welcomed over 130 kids to Morgantown High to get active with their favorite WVU and pro athletes.
Not many kids get the chance to meet their role models, but the 4th annual Day of Play allowed some young Mountaineer fans to learn some new ways to get up and move with their favorite current and former NFL and WVU players. Founder Dr. Elizabeth Opp says it's not hard to keep the athletes coming back.
NFL, they come back and they have a really good time, and they tell me that they're just as worn out as the kids, and I think you can see that today.
Once a Mountaineer, Always a Mountaineer is a way of life for many former WVU players. So when these guys are asked to come back and help teach healthy lifestyle choices, they just can't say no.
Just the state, the city, the community, and this university, they were just so good to me in the 5 years I played here. So anytime I give a chance to just give back or just share my time or share my experience, I'm always willing to come back.
While both the athletes and the kids had a great time at the Day of Play, the parents were the ones excited about the healthy tips they took home with them, like eating their fruits and vegetables.
I think it's good for children to always realize that they need to make the right choices to stay active and I know they have healthy snacks for them, so I think it's good to let them see like their role models doing that and staying active as well.
At the end of the day, in addition to autographs, the players gave the kids some extra team tips to take home with them, letting these future Mountaineers know that being the best you can simply start with a healthy breakfast.
You may have caught some familiar Mountaineer faces in the story, like Tyler Orlowski, Rasheed Marshall, Justin Art, and Keith Tandy, who continues to give back to WVU. He has been participating in the Day of Play since year 1. Brianna and CJ, back to you.
Thank you, Hannah, for that report. In trending news on the internet,
April the giraffe from the Animal Adventure Park in Harpersville, New York, is close to delivering a new calf into the world. That's right, the calf has been the talk of the internet for over a month, and fans are eagerly waiting for the big day.
There is even a live video feed of April that anyone can watch at the link below. That feed has anywhere from 50 to well over 100,000 viewers at any given time.
There's been so much publicity around the giraffe that Toys R Us has even become a feed sponsor for April.
We wish April and all of her handlers luck in the coming weeks. That's going to do it for this week's edition of WVU News. You can visit us online on our website.
You can also catch our shows on YouTube and follow us and our reporters on Twitter. I'm CJ Harvey.
And I'm Brianna Parks. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.